Hello, everybody. Welcome to our video series featuring the Skills for Psychological Recovery, SPR, brought to you by Lynwood Charlton Centre, the GPS Home and School team. This is the third webinar in a series of 6 that covers the Skills for Psychological Recovery. The Guiding Partnership and Solutions program here at Lynwood Charlton Centre has decided that this is a useful tool to share with our families and anyone out there who is really having some challenges during this time and may want to enhance their skills to work through some of the trauma and the difficult times they're having right now. So we know that while some of you might even be on the wait list for services, some of you might not even be looking for services. So this is a program that, yes, it talks about disaster, survival, and trauma, but it's important to recognize that we have all been feeling the effects of trauma, just given the current situation that we're in and having to isolate and worry about our health. So it really is a program that can help everybody with their skills, no matter where you are in terms of building resiliency, building strength, or dealing with trauma and survival. So each session is short and sweet, about 15 minutes in length, and this program was chosen because it really is keeping with our core values and clinical framework at Lynwood Charlton Centre. And if you do go on to services within the mental health world, these are all skills that you can build upon. So it's never too early to get started. So we will move forward, and I would like to just highlight that the Skills for Psychological Recovery was written by a number of trauma specialists from the National Center for Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder and the National Child Traumatic Stress Network. And so today, where are we going? Today, I would like to introduce you to my colleague, Teresa, and she is going to walk us through skill number 3, promoting positive activities. Welcome, Teresa.
Thanks, Patty. Hi, everyone. My name is Teresa Todd, and I'm a family resource worker at Lynwood Charlton Centre. And together with Patty, we're going to be talking to you about the skill promoting positive activities, which includes breaking down and identifying activities that are enjoyable and then scheduling them into a calendar. Disasters often disrupt normal routines and activities that provide a sense of purpose, control, and pleasure. Planning and doing positive and meaningful activities can help you restart some activities in your life that can make things more normal. Engaging in hobbies, helping others, reestablishing family routines, and participating in satisfying activities can also improve your mood and restore a sense of control. Sometimes after a disaster, things can change so much that it can feel as if you're starting over. The day-to-day things that people count on, like talking with a close neighbor or going to a favorite coffee shop, are suddenly gone. Sometimes family members and friends separate physically and emotionally after a disaster. There are several activities that people can engage in to help them during this stage of rebuilding their lives. Let's spend a few minutes discussing ways of coping with feelings like sad, withdrawn, or depressed. These are common reactions people can feel after a disaster. Having more negative experiences than positive ones can cause and maintain these feelings. Positive experiences tend to cause upbeat emotions, whereas negative experiences tend to cause upsetting emotions. So if you want to improve your mood, you need to increase positive experiences and decrease negative ones. Another way to think about this is to understand that our personalities are made up of our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Feeling sad, withdrawn, or apathetic can come from any of these areas. feelings, thoughts, or behaviors, and each area affects the other two areas. When people feel down, they often think the first thing that they want to change is their feelings. This makes sense because the goal is to feel better. However, feelings are actually the most difficult of the three areas to control and change. As you've probably found out, simply telling yourself to feel good doesn't usually work. In fact, it's easier to change your thoughts and behaviors, which in turn will change the way you feel. So, the promoting positive activity skills and changing your behaviors by changing some of your day-to-day activities. So the two steps involved in promoting positive activities are identifying and plan one or more activity, and step two is to schedule it into the calendar. Step one, identify and plan one or more activities. Make a list of things you enjoy and feel good about. Choose 3 to do during the coming week, and pick ones that you're confident you'll be able to do. One way to change your behavior is to be involved in more positive activities. For this step, you should create a list of activities that are of interest to participate in, and then review the list to come up with at least 3 activities that can be done in the upcoming week. The list is only a guide to show you how many choices there are, and add any activities that were enjoyed in the past, and take a few minutes to consider what kind of things you did before the disaster that made you feel happy. Finally, choose activities you think you might enjoy and that you will actually do. Even if you don't feel like engaging in positive activities because you feel sad or lack energy, it's important that you agree to try some of these this week.
Oh, I think I get to do this one. I'm very excited about this. Okay, this is a really good visual, not only just for kids, because I know sometimes it's very helpful to have these sorts of visuals for kids, but I think it also works for adults because it certainly hit me. So here we have just a jug full of disaster. And disaster can represent so many different things. It's some really negative impact that has impacted your limbic system, your amygdala. A lot of times you're going into fight, flight, or freeze. You're feeling intense, negative emotions, and oftentimes our cup gets filled with very, very sad and hard feelings. And so one of the strategies it talks about is to kind of counteract some of that sadness and those negative feelings with making sure that you are filling your cup with play, with perhaps music. Maybe it's walking, maybe it's jogging, maybe it's just spending time with friends or family. And the more happy activities and the more happy you can use to fill your cup, that's going to dilute the amount of negative feelings that you're feeling. So it's kind of a really helpful strategy just to show people and help them remember that there are a lot of activities that can sometimes bring us joy, even in the face of huge disaster and hard feelings. Okay, let me turn this little tool off. Scheduling activities in a calendar is step 2. And this is a really important step that a lot of us forget, or we make a commitment to do it, and then we fall off the rails pretty quickly. So I'm a lover of calendars. I like to make them fun, colorful. I love this calendar because it has so much color. And anything that's going to help to motivate you or to give you a jump start to actually schedule enjoyable activities, especially if you're under a lot of stress and it's day after day after day, gloom and doom. You actually have to get your pen out or get your colored markers out or your sticky notes and highlight things on the calendar with different colors. This helps you kind of create an excitement of looking forward to a positive activity. Not only is it really, really important to make sure that you capture things on your calendar, you want to also make sure that you're checking back to your calendar to make sure that you were actually following it and scheduling new activities for the next week so you don't forget to do it all the time. Let me stop that. So it's helpful to commit to the calendar process, whether you use a wall calendar, a desktop calendar, an agenda. Having a visual for yourself and your family really, really helps to get the job done. And especially when you're feeling low and down and you don't feel like doing anything, there's something about seeing it in writing and nice, colorful writing that might give you that extra little boost. So be clear with what you're writing on the calendar as if it's a bit of a goal. Like I said, use color, use emojis, track maybe some of your feelings you had after you had the activity, and use the calendar often to review the skills, to review the goals, and just to review all of the things that maybe you've experienced in the last couple of weeks to remind yourself what you are grateful for. So it can be a little place to do a bit of journaling as well if you want to follow up with those things. Speaking of follow-up, I encourage you to kind of make sure you're following your calendar daily, because during the times where you find it difficult to use that frontal brain because you're under so much stress and duress, it's it's much easier to follow a schedule and something you have visually in front of you. But I encourage you to follow up, if not every day, certainly a week later. You want to be looking at, how did these activities go? Did that work? Did I enjoy that? Did that bring me some of that positive feeling that I was looking for? Was it a difficult activity? Is it something I need to schedule again maybe and do some practice with? Is it something you can help your kids do practice with? So again, these skills are for adults and for children, and you can adapt them accordingly. You want to ask yourself maybe some questions about what could you change for the next time. Maybe the outing wasn't so successful over at Johnny's house, but perhaps it might be better if Johnny comes to your house. So you can adjust, but not throw away the goal altogether, because the idea is to keep practicing the skills so you feel more and more confident and more comfortable with them. And most importantly, and this is also a step that people forget, give yourself a reward, a pat on the back for the attempts you're making to schedule things that are actually going to help in your own self-care and things that are going to improve your mental health and well-being in the face of adversity and really hard times. So recognize the progress you're making. Recognize it in the kids. Recognize it in your spouse or your partner. Every little bit of positive helps you feel better about what you're coping with on a day-to-day basis. So after kind of getting into the habit of reviewing your plan, you want to feel comfortable modifying the plan. And again, that you can change it altogether. You can modify place, time, whatever you think. Maybe you took too big of a jump, and maybe that was really uncomfortable, or you encouraged your child to get out and to start socializing again, but it was too much or too overwhelming. You can scale back and adjust those plans. Just don't give up on them. And that's why we want to make sure you understand that modifying the plan is part of the plan. There's absolutely nothing wrong in going back and changing things, but keeping the goal central to where you want to get. So activities that didn't seem too much to help, maybe they're not the right ones at this time. So make those minor changes. If you're feeling stuck, then definitely rewatch skill number 2. That will help you with the problem-solving steps, and that will only help you to modify the plan in a thoughtful way. Give yourself a pat on the back for all attempts, and that has to be in every step of the way. This is hard. These are hard times. So anything you can do to promote your health and your well-being, we encourage you to take part in those positive activities.
Patty, can I piggyback on what you're saying?
You sure can, Teresa.
I'm just going to switch the slide back to modifying the plan. I just wanted to also add, if you wanted to change the word modify to reflection, this is a really important thing that we need to be doing with ourselves, because as you can see from the image we chose for this slide, things don't just happen in a straight arrow. Sometimes you loop around and circle back, and that's all part of the process. The idea that you're going to get it right on the first try, it really needs to be scaled back, and reflection and modifications are the key to continuing to move forward.
Fantastic. So true. And that actually concludes our third skill for today. After a disaster, it's very common for people to stop doing things that they used to find enjoyable, rewarding, or personally meaningful. And people often become depressed or withdrawn when they are no longer engaged in pleasurable activities. And we know this. We are social creatures. We need each other. If this happens, or it is happening to you, there is value in making a plan to increase meaningful and positive activities in your schedule. Build your resilience and bring more fulfillment and enjoyment into your life. And I just want to add that sometimes the hardest part is just getting that activity started. Once you get there and you get going, oftentimes those pleasurable activities do their job and you do feel pleasurable. So just remember, the hardest part is to get yourself moving. So follow that calendar, and thank you so much for watching today. And remember, we'll be doing skill number 4 webinar, and join us for that. And thanks for tuning in, and have a great day.